Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, and one might hope it would be a upbeat, wonderful Monday, and relatively it could be, but for some people it might not be. Today we're going to really talk about something that can be and is hard, and it's a change. And it's the change that happens when all the care that you've done, and you've done maybe terrific care, maybe struggled with care, maybe had a real challenge, maybe not, but one way or the other, that part is done. The journey has finished for one of us, and the other is left. And so that's a transition, and it's a big one. And what I would say is the relationship has changed. We no longer have this caring relationship where I am committing myself to whatever time, whatever talents, whatever skills that I've put into the relationship, and back and forth and back and forth. And it has changed and changed and changed. And I thought for sure I would be good at this point. And for many people, it's still a surprise how much everything suddenly is like, whoa, now what? Or oh wow, um, hmm, don't know quite where to go with that. And so one of the things that we I did recently is pulled out the relationship guide that we put together, a guidebook for positive approach all relationships. And so that was something that I worked with Dan and Christine to pull together because we really did want to talk about things like brain change. And when you lose someone you've been intimate with in lots of ways for years and years, or months and months, or days and days. I mean, it can be any kind of length of time, but when you lose them, suddenly everything shifts. And you're no longer spending a tremendous amount of time on, like, page 6, which is meeting their needs for unmet physical needs, unmet emotional needs. And you suddenly have new needs, perhaps. Looking at yourself, having someone around you that might be looking toward you and saying, "What do you need?" And it's like, "Oh, I don't know. It's been so long since I thought about it that way. I've not had time to do that, or I've not had inclination to do that." That there's a real grieving of this loss, and that grief could take on, as Kubler-Ross has talked about, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, this idea of anger and sadness and this sense of wanting to bargain about it. But I mean, yeah, but if I could just get a good night, if but some of that is done. And so now we have this idea of getting to the idea of acceptance. How do we get to acceptance, and knowing that it's going to be a roller coaster ride, back and forth and over and up and down and all those things. Um, so when we do that, it might be helpful to take a few moments to talk about how are you doing in regard to your stress distress state. So this may actually be a time where financially things shift. And that can be like just that alone. If you're in a spousal pair and someone passes, ooh, did you get it? I mean, these are practical things that people bring up, which is like, do you have all the death certificates you need? Are you notifying everybody you need to notify? Who's doing that? Who's the executor? Are you the one who's doing that? In addition to being you've just done this healthcare power of attorney thing and been a care partner. And now all of a sudden you're having to do the financial side of it again. And it's like, whoa, without maybe a lot of support. Maybe it's time to raise your hand and say, I need a relationship that I can trust to help me with this. Because right now I'm having a hard time cognitively focusing, emotionally focusing on this. So, Matthew, we've both experienced losses of people in our world, not our spouses in either case, but family that mattered to us, friends that mattered to us. What do you think about looking at relationships after this sequence is complete? What is your sense of it?
Yeah, Teepa, the idea of how the relationship with each person that you have shifts. We talk often about the six pieces of the puzzle, and all of the six pieces being really important for the person who is the middle piece.
Yeah.
And we often talk about gathering the information for the pieces of the puzzle and how important that is. Well, it's also just as important as we start to notice some of those pieces losing some things in
Yeah.
those parts. Because what does that do to the puzzle? What does that do to my relationship to the other folks? And that relationship guide really being a huge piece of awareness when it comes to that, because I think it can be just as easy to start losing relationships with people who
Mhm.
you want to maintain a relationship with, but you're not quite sure how to now with this transition,
Now
or
that we don't have that bridge, I mean, the person that was living with the brain change might have been the bridge in relationships. And so now all of a sudden you're cut loose from other relationships because they're not part of your world. So the idea, yeah, that you can experience more isolation and frustration, or you might think, oh, yeah, no, I'm good. And then you are, and then you're not. And how do you then reestablish a relationship when you said, no, I'm fine, leave me alone, I don't need anything right now because I need to heal, I want to go do this. The number of people that I know personally who said, I want to go to the beach on my own without any responsibilities, they get to the beach and they're back.
yeah,
And they're back because when they got to the beach,
now what?
it was too big, it was too empty, it was too much, it was too many memories, it was just too.
Yeah,
And to come back and realize, oh, well, where were you? You were in amber state. You thought you were diamond, and you were thought you were just going to go back to sapphire. But quite honestly, you were in an amber ruby state because you're still. And then all of a sudden, you just want to go into pearl for a bit. And it's like, So, the plus of the relationship guide, it really does. What can you notice? What can you see for each of the different gem states? And you can think, this is about you.
yeah,
And so, what's nice about the relationship guide, a good part of it is what are your go to favorites that relax and calm you? So, before you even experience a loss, it would be great to know what are my go tos,
yeah,
but then realize what's a little bite of a go to. If I like to walk in the woods, maybe I figure out which friend can walk quietly with me and hold the Kleenex when I need it,
be
or
that
give
for
me a hug if that's what I need, because maybe I really will need that. And we can think we know what we will need when we get to the other side of the divide, but we really can't anticipate all that. And so being willing and able to go with the flow of the different gem states and to realize not just me, but everyone who is in a relationship with that human being that is no longer present will be traveling back and forth. And so giving one another grace where we can, creating space where we need to, finding time that may be missing, um, really getting some of the practical things supported in a relationship can make a big difference. And it's not going to be easy.
no,
I, I,
no,
I mean, it shouldn't be.
no, it never is easy. And the idea, Teepa, you always bring up that topic of we need a third person.
Mm-hmm.
That consideration of how this third person within this relationship can also now become that support for us on this side of it. Can
Yeah.
we find that person who we can trust, who knows us well enough to be able to see those moments and step in when we need it, versus
Yes.
know when to stay 6 feet out and give us that space when we need that. And the difference that makes to have that third person, somebody on the outside, essentially, to help us, because it's hard when we're in the middle of it, when they're in the thick of it, to see those things, to know those things, to be able to figure out, is that what I do now, or do I do something else, or what should I be doing?
Well, Matthew, I don't think you actually read this page recently, but I thought I would just bring it up since you said it. Main points to think about, your takeaways. You have purpose, value, and are needed. All relationships can be changed. Knowing your personality preferences can help you accept someone else's. We all cycle through gem states multiple times a day. You are not in this alone. So, realizing relationships do indeed matter. And one of the ones we may have to explore after the loss of someone we care deeply about is the relationship we have with ourselves. And realizing there's all kinds of us. And we think we know what our legacy project is going to be. We think we might have a handle on it. But if we're open to the idea that it's a journey, it's a new one. Oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this. It's like, understood. Maybe you need a breather before you take another trip, or maybe you're called to do something immediately. Whatever it is, consider reaching out, getting support, perhaps before you even need it, when you only would like it or want it, so that your distress state could really stay low and you can find pleasure in moments of remembrance, of celebration, of connection.
Mm.
So, till next time. If you don't have a resource, this is a small sort of easy resource, easy read, easy way, and it has places as per usual to jot things down. So you can write some of your thoughts in there and sort of consider, what are you feeling? What are you thinking? And you could do it with someone else to build a relationship, something different. All right, everybody. Till next time, take care of yourselves, take care with your care. And if you need to, reach out or explore on your own if that's a direction of travel you'd rather do. All right, everyone. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Teepa. Bye, everybody.